Here's Brody Brazil.
Well, a Sharks trade to talk about from today, and while it is a bit eye-catching, it's not necessarily surprising in the least. San Jose gets a 2024 fourth-round draft pick from Las Vegas, and in exchange, the Golden Knights get one of the Sharks' old goalies, Adin Hill, who San Jose had signed prior to the beginning of last season. So let's just dive into some of the deeper thoughts here and things to consider about this specific trade. Number one, not a surprise, I say, because if you know the Sharks, you knew they were not going to keep three goalies headed into this season. With James Reimer, Kaapo Kähkönen, and Adin Hill, there just was not going to be the opportunity to play all three or also to pay all three. The salary cap in San Jose, already a bit tight. We'll talk more about that in just a second. So this move coming was not a surprise. We just didn't know who the odd man out would be. Turns out it's Adin Hill. And as for the Vegas part of this, the Las Vegas part of this, no surprise down there either. They just found out that Robin Lehner is not going to be available for any time in the near future, and they were down to basically zero regular experienced NHL goalies on their roster. And you could also argue that Adin Hill, not ever having played a full NHL season start to finish, doesn't even give them that known commodity aspect. But that's who they're going to roll with. And look, I think he'll do well there. I hope not too well there from the San Jose perspective. We'll talk about the divisional trade aspect of this at the very end. But the Golden Knights needed a goalie. They needed somebody. They were on the hunt, and these two teams striking a deal. Adin Hill this season is going to make $2.175 million, and then after that, he becomes an unrestricted free agent. So if he has a great year, a great contract year, he's going to have to figure out where he'll play next year and where he can get paid. As for the San Jose side of this, that's just money off their cap, money that they can have a little bit more breathing room with to sign a new player or be a little bit more flexible down the road. That's obviously an objective of the Sharks. More cap space, more opportunity, more flexibility in the future. As for the decision that was made, and I said there was going to be an odd man out, I do like the fact that James Reimer is still part of San Jose's mix. Kaapo Kähkönen and Adin Hill, similar in the sense that they're both highly touted. People feel really great about what they could become, but we also already know what James Reimer has meant to San Jose on multiple stints, and he was great last year, and he was hurt for a lot of portions last year. So hopefully he's beyond that. Hopefully he can just do what he's been doing, because those numbers in itself are a statement. I like the fact that Reimer for now is part of this equation. He gives some solidity. He gives kind of the the known commodity aspect. I keep going back to that. You know what to expect. You know what James Reimer is capable of. And certainly you hope that Kaapo Kähkönen can come in, like he came in last year, had 10 starts from the trade deadline to the end of the season. You hope that he can gain momentum. He can challenge Reimer. You want a friendly goalie, not competition, but conversation between the two. You want them to push each other. I like the established and the up-and-coming as the two themes of these goalies. Versus, hypothetically, a lot of people said, well, James Reimer would be your best trade candidate because he is the biggest known commodity that other teams would want from San Jose. Well, if you trade him away, now you've got two players, again, who've never done an NHL season start to finish. So I like the way that goes. Lastly here, the divisional part of this trade. It always leaves you with a little bit of a cliffhanger, right? Because what if Adin Hill goes off this year, like we know he's capable of? He's very much at the beginning of his career. We've only seen the tip of the iceberg. What if Adin Hill is spectacular in Southern Nevada? Sure, might be some regrets, but at the same time, I don't know what the Golden Knights are supposed to be this year and how much the Sharks are really their rival here and now, as in August of 2022. The Sharks have a long way to go. A couple years ago, absolutely these two teams were heated rivals. The 2019 Round 1 series is all you really need to know. But the divisional trade part of it, I understand people will make a big deal out of this. And sure, there is something to it. There is a little bit more of the riskiness to it. because of the what if factor. But I'll roll with it. The biggest thing is that the Sharks cleared up some cap space. The Sharks got something back. I know a lot of people, and I will address this too, will say that maybe the 2024 fourth round draft pick wasn't enough. It's not early enough. It's not high enough. I don't know. It's a goalie with 1 year left on his contract, never played a full season, coming off some injuries like Hill was. I'm not here to play him down. I'm here to build him up. But it's really hard to talk about market value for a player like this and what to get in return. The Sharks got some space. They're down to 2. They're happy with the goalies they have. And honestly, there's a lot of organizational depth at the goaltending position too. So that's the Sharks trade. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below.